Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm about to share a story that's very personal. It's about how an unknown person changed my life forever. Well, maybe not entirely unknown, but it took me a while to figure it out. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and hit the bell notification, or your mind might just implode. Just kidding. Or am I serious? Don't find out. Growing up in a small town, life was never easy for me. My mom worked 2 jobs to keep a roof over our heads, and I often went to bed hungry. Despite the hardships, I was determined to make something of myself. I excelled in school, dreaming of a future where I could provide a better life for my family. One of my biggest challenges at school was my history teacher, Mr. Thompson. He was strict, often critical, and seemed to have a particular dislike for me. He would call me out in class, question my answers harshly, and never missed an opportunity to point out my mistakes. I couldn't understand why he was so hostile towards me, but I tried my best to stay out of his way. What I didn't know was that Mr. Thompson had a complicated past. Years ago, he had been a promising young teacher with a bright future. He was married to his college sweetheart, and they were expecting their first child. However, tragedy struck when his wife and unborn child were killed in a car accident caused by a drunk driver. Devastated, Mr. Thompson fell into a deep depression and struggled to find meaning in his life. In an attempt to start over, he moved to a new town and took a job at my high school. The pain of his loss made him distant and harsh, especially towards students who reminded him of the family he had lost. I, with my determination and resilience, unknowingly triggered memories of his wife and child, leading to his seemingly unwarranted hostility. One chilly autumn morning, as I was getting ready for school, I noticed an envelope slipped under the front door. It was addressed to me with no return address. Curiosity piqued. I opened it to find $500 in cash and a note that simply read, "Use this wisely." I was stunned. I had never seen so much money in my life. I used it to buy groceries and pay off some of the bills that had been piling up. The next week, another envelope arrived and then another. Each one contained more money and a similar note. My life began to change. I could afford new clothes, school supplies, and even a few luxuries I had never dreamed of. But with the money came questions. Who was sending it? Why were they helping me? I decided to find out. I started paying close attention to the envelopes, noting that they always arrived on Fridays. One Thursday night, I stayed up late, hiding near the front door, determined to catch my mysterious benefactor. At around 3 a.m., I saw a shadowy figure approach the house. The person was wearing a mask and moved quickly, slipping the envelope under the door before disappearing into the night. My heart raced. I had to know who this person was. The next week, I enlisted the help of my best friend, Jake. We set up a camera near the door, hoping to capture the masked donor on film. When we reviewed the footage, we saw a tall figure in a dark coat and mask, but the video was too grainy to make out any details. Undeterred, I decided to confront the person directly. The following Friday, I waited outside, hidden in the bushes. When the figure approached, I jumped out and shouted, "Stop! Who are you?" The masked person froze, then turned and ran. I chased after them, my heart pounding. I managed to grab the edge of their coat, pulling them to a stop. The person struggled, but I held on, demanding answers. Finally, the figure stopped struggling and removed the mask. It was Mr. Thompson, my high school history teacher. He looked at me with a mixture of guilt and relief. "Why?" I asked, tears in my eyes. "Why have you been helping me?" Mr. Thompson sighed. "I knew your father, Emily. He was a good man and he saved my life once. When he passed away, I promised him I would look out for you and your mother. I didn't want you to know it was me because I didn't want you to feel obligated or embarrassed." I was overwhelmed with emotion. I thanked Mr. Thompson, realizing that his kindness had given me the chance to succeed. I promised to pay it forward to help others in need just as he had helped me. From that day on, I worked even harder, knowing I had someone who believed in me. I graduated with honors, went to college, and eventually became a successful lawyer. I never forgot the masked donor who had changed my life, and I made sure to honor his memory by helping others in secret, just as he had done for me. So if there's one thing you take away from my story, let it be this: kindness can come from the most unexpected places, and it can change lives in ways you never imagined. If you have the chance to help someone, do it. You never know the impact you might have. And remember, always be grateful for the people who believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself.